generally, I can talk about formations all day: 3-4-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, whatever formation you throw at me. I think it sounds extreme to say it's becoming an irrelevance, but I think it is becoming a bit of an irrelevance because I've seen many different formations this season and I've seen similar flaws in all of them. Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Bournemouth 2, Chelsea 2. Another crazy, chaotic game in this very chaotic season for Chelsea. The reason I'm uploading this a day later is I think like a lot of times with this and making videos about Chelsea and reacting to the game, I think sometimes, especially in more emotive games, I don't want to rush on camera and sort of rush to conclusions and sort of say things that, I might regret, and sort of I want to think about the game a bit more and sort of think about, what's gone wrong, or I want to say about the game and analyze it a bit deeper. Because what happened yesterday, it was, a similar story for Chelsea. Something we've seen a lot. It's the nature of this Chelsea side. They are a very uncertain side. They're a side that can do many things in a 90-minute period. And you can pick up many games this season, but I think once again, Bournemouth was one of those games that are just so perfect to summarise this season, and in a lot of ways the negative aspects of this Chelsea side. There's been a lot of positive aspects that we've all loved about this season, the youth revolution under Frank Lampard, the sense of positivity, some of the great play we've seen and some big results. But the opposite side to that is the poor defending, set pieces, the inconsistency, the weather yesterday, which was very frantic and unpredictable in the UK, very much represented Chelsea in that game. It was up and down. It was sometimes it was bright, sometimes it was like a storm. It was a horrible game to watch as a fan, and that's what we've experienced a lot this season. But then you have to flip that with the fact that at 2-1 down, I think a lot of us probably thought it's going to go to the worst here. I mean, Bournemouth could have scored a third. You have to give credit, I think, for Chelsea's ending to that game to come back and claim a point. But in larger context, the performance, I think there is still a lot of concerns to be had. And some of those maybe can be rectified from now to the end of the season. But I think the larger thing for me, which is why I don't want to go overboard, is just the level of the squad, which we know, which needs an overhaul, which needs improvement. We need to strengthen certain positions. There's a lot of players in this squad that are not, I think, up to scratch of where Chelsea need to be. I wrote an article in a week about Bayern Munich game and the post-mortem to that for all things Chelsea. And I very much touched on how this squad feels like a jumbled mix of a lot of things. You've got players who are coming into the prime of their careers, like younger players like Reece James, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Fikayo Tomori. You've got players sort of in the prime of their careers that there are question marks over. And then you have players who are much older, who are probably past the best days of their careers. So I think that's a struggle, and we don't have any world-class players. I don't think we have many players in the squad who are consistently in the prime of their career, performing brilliantly week in, week out. I don't think there are many of those players. There's not a lot of Chelsea players who every single week you can guarantee are going to give you a 7 out of 10. And that's why I think we see the erratic performances, and with that, the poor results. The game did start very poor. Chelsea could have been 2-0 down, and if it wasn't for Caballero's great reaction saves, we should have been 2-0 down. And it was a warning sign of what Bournemouth were trying to do in that game. They were trying to get in behind us, capitalise on our mistakes, really use their pace up top to get in behind us, and those early moments very much foreshadowed what was going to happen a lot later in the game. But we steadied the storm, and we got through that, and then we started to control the game. And I like the fact that Reece James started to get on the ball a bit more. He's been a little bit silent in the last 2 games, but he got into this game. And that first goal was pretty much everything you wanted. Reece James out wide, a great ball in near post for Olivier Giroud to flick on. He's a bit unlucky that it doesn't go over the line. But why you play a 3-4-3 and why you have Marcos Alonso in the team is because he can get on the end of things like that. He's always making runs into the box. He's got an eye for a goal. And this was the day for him. He was the man of the match for Chelsea. He was the saviour for Chelsea. He saved Chelsea yesterday and gave us a point. A brilliant finish. I mean, he is clinical when he gets into those areas. And you were sort of hoping Is this going to be, a chance for Chelsea to, get more dominant in this game, hopefully get another goal, control it a bit more? But as we know of Chelsea, that's not the case, because I've seen this Chelsea side many times this season not take our chances and then concede very soon after, because you can't trust this Chelsea side to keep a clean sheet. And then, of course, the set piece, once again, Jefferson Lerma. I mean, he's being marked by Mateo Kovacic. That's something that, once again, there's been many flaws to this Chelsea side. Set pieces are right up there at the top of that list. Once again, you have to ask what is going on in the training ground. Why is Mateo Kovacic marking Jefferson Lerma, a player who's taller than him? And he got a free jump, got a free header on it. Caballero can do nothing. And then we just lose our heads, lose our shape. We're very passive. And that's another problem with Chelsea. You see us so often just allow teams into dangerous areas of the pitch. And that second goal, sure, was well worked by Bournemouth, but was far too easy against a team like Chelsea. Teams like Bournemouth, any team, should not be that easy to get in behind us. Bayern had the same joy, but Bayern Munich, the world-class players they have, Bournemouth should not be able to do the same things. And that is a massive concern, that similar goals are happening against varying levels of opposition. And I just want to touch on the goalie, because once again, Caballero did make some big saves. He kept Chelsea in this game. But the wider point I want to make here, as I've made in previous videos, is that I just generally think that the goalie, and especially when I look, Kepa, has become a bit of a scapegoat. And I think that this Chelsea side, you could put a lot of keepers in that goal, and I think it wouldn't make a lot of difference, because I think that the level and the amount of chances, the quality of chance we give up in games, I've said it all season when people were having a go at Kepa, and I think maybe the stats were a little bit deceiving about Kepa, because I think that even when keepers have good games, they're going to concede, like Caballero did yesterday. All we can do, if you're giving away chances like that, luck is against you, the odds are against you, and that's something that frustrated me, because I think it's a wider problem, and I think people simplify things when they just go after one player, especially Kepa, and I think he's probably looking on the sidelines going, I've been sort of punished here, maybe for poor form on my own. I've never sort of said myself that I think Kepa's perfect, but he probably looks at it and goes, I've been taken out of the team, and defensively we haven't really improved. We are still conceding goals, we are still struggling in games, and I think that is a massive worry, and it shows that it's not just down to who's in between the sticks. There's something fundamental going on here. There's too much space between defence and midfield. That's been a problem since pre-season. It hasn't been fixed, and it's been something that teams have capitalised on over and over and over again. You've got two players like Jorginho and Kovacic. I love both of them, especially Jorginho, but I think that we know their limitations. We know especially Jorginho's limitations. He can be isolated. He needs movement in front of him. And, in Kante, of course, is injured at the moment, but he has not found his form. And I think that is an issue. We don't have enough protection for a player like Jorginho, who can very much dictate the tempo. But going the other way, we do have those issues. We have for a long time now. And especially without Kante in the team, you're always going to have those holes and gaps which aren't being plugged, which, of course, led to their second goal. I've got to give the team credit, as I said before, for a strong ending. And, of course, Marcus Alonso, once again, being in the right place at the right time. Ramsdale makes a really good save, nearly saves the header from Alonso. Once again, Alonso in a great position. And so many times this season, especially when we were playing a 4-3-3, we didn't have that strength in Alonso to be there to clean up rebounds, to get to the rebound and put it in. We've had many times this season where a ball goes across the box and no one's there to finish. And luckily, Alonso has that. And I think that personally for me, if Alonso definitely needs to be in the team moving forward. He's earned his spot now, especially if he's going to score goals. And a team that's lacking goals and clinical edge, you need players like Marcus Alonso in the team. I think if you're going to play Marcus Alonso, you have to play a back three, unfortunately, because I think that the limitations of Marcus Alonso going the other way. Although when he did score that second goal, we'd moved to a back four. But just generally, I can talk about formations all day. 3-4-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 4-4-2. Whatever formation you throw at me, I think it sounds extreme to say it's becoming an irrelevance, but I think it is becoming a bit of an irrelevance because I've seen many different formations this season and I've seen similar flaws in all of them. Sure, some players will be strengthened in some formations. Like I've said before, I think Mason Mount works better as an inverted winger. And, Marcus Alonso obviously benefits off playing as a left wing back because that is his position, his best position. But we still concede goals. We still look fragile. We've still got a glass jaw. I think that it's interesting to me that people say sometimes, oh, this is Chelsea's best 11. And I sometimes think that's, of course, your opinion, just like it's my opinion. But I don't think anyone can, with any clarity and in a assured way, can tell me what Chelsea's best 11 is. Because I think, Ross Barkley came off the bench, has had a decent game recently against Spurs. And I thought he was trying to make things happen. And just because of the chaotic, uncertain nature of the current squad and players playing well one week and then not playing well the next, I think, you can look at a player like Ross Barkley and say he's got as much sort of chance or right to be in the first 11 as other players, because of just at the moment nailing down a first 11. It's very difficult, and especially when you're making videos and trying to analyze the game and going into games moving forward, it's very hard to sort of predict those, because no matter what formation Frank puts out, it's just the mentality, sort of the experience within the team, the naivety within the team from some players, of course, from younger players, and sort of the level of performance which isn't there regularly. And I think, as I say, this is a longer term thing about improving players, and that's of course not going to be fixed this season. That is something that's going to happen in the summer. I do have to critique Lampard, because I think that my worry is the uncertain nature of Chelsea. Earlier in the year, it became clear to me, especially when it was going well, we looked like a very pressing team, an energetic team who were going to go press the team, a lot of rapid movement, quick passing, pressing teams for a long period of time. And especially, I think Frank's obviously, struggled with injuries as well. He hasn't got Christian Pulisic, he hasn't got Callum Hudson-Odoi, he hasn't got players like N'Golo Kante, even Ruben, when he gets back to full fitness, and starts playing again, he could potentially aid that. And Tammy, of course, is injured as well. But as the months have got more difficult, as we've gone through this winter period, I think I find it more and more difficult some games to understand what Chelsea are trying to do on a football pitch. It feels so chaotic and up and down, and you don't know quite what Chelsea are trying to achieve in the game. Are we a possession-based side? Are we a side that wants to look to counter? Are we, pressing side? Of course, Frank talks a lot about flexibility. I think in a modern game, it's very crucial to have plan A, and I still wonder what that plan A is. That may be something that becomes very clear once Frank gets better players in, and I'm very much patient towards that, especially younger players getting better. But that is a general concern, personally, for me when I watch Chelsea. But of course, it is slipping up once again, and it allows Manchester United, if they win at Everton on Sunday afternoon, to get within 1 point of us. Of course, it's going to boost Tottenham, Wolves, Sheffield United, Arsenal, and Chelsea have spent a lot of weekends recently hoping for teams to bail them out, but I think it's running out now. Chelsea, I go in with as much fear now to play Everton and Aston Villa as I do to play like Manchester City and Liverpool, because you just don't know what Chelsea are going to turn up. Chelsea can start a game really well, but then have a 5-minute period like they did against Bournemouth where their heads go and we almost lose a game, and the game goes beyond us and we can only go out with a point. So that is going to be just a general thing this season, and it is very irritating, and it can be very frustrating as a fan to see that over and over again. The thing I would say, we've known this for a long time now. We knew this before Frank took the job, what trouble he had and what struggles he was going to have in the job, not only being a manager still in the early years of his coaching career, sort of understanding and probably learning on the job about what he wants to implement into a football team, but also the younger players within there. And it's, for me, it's that balance of critiquing Lampard and seeing the frustrations of this season and sort of isolating it down to look at getting into the top four, but also the wider, longer term thing, longer problems that were here before Lampard arrived that still haven't been sorted out and hopefully will be sorted out in the future. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you leave your comments and thoughts in the comments below. Send me your thoughts, and I'm going to be doing another added time video. I started doing it last week. You can go and check that video out where I basically talk about more topics you guys want to discuss. So if you want some topics that haven't been discussed in this video, in the added time video, please leave them in the comments below or tweet me at @SonOfChelsea. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter at @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.